Today's session is looking at the business model. And the business model is one of those things that is very hard to figure out, mainly because a lot of us start businesses, whether whether we're looking for a job or we're responding to a particular trend that is happening at the moment. So we don't think about these things, and we tend to kind of operate on autopilot. So we don't sit down and figure out what system am I actually running, right? So today's session is really to look at what a business model is and the various types of business model that exist and who is working what. And then hopefully that will kind of resonate with you. And then we'll have one or two questions and stuff, because my sessions, I like it being interactive. So again, when I finish, I might point out one or two individuals and say, okay, what did you learn? What did you learn? So it would be great if you make some notes, and then we can have a wonderful conversation. So I'm going to start by sharing my screen. Hopefully my village people won't do me today. Good. All things being equal, you can see my screen clearly on your side, I'm guessing. If you can, let me know if you can see the screen. Okay. Hold on a second.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you can see the screen, right? You can see, what can you see?
Introduction to business model.
Introduction to business model.
Okay. 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 So as I was saying, what we're going to do today will be the introduction to business model, like literally looking at what the business model is and what it does and everything else. So again, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Josiah Asen. I'm an entrepreneur, a coach, and basically I like to advocate on innovation and how that empowers startups generally across Africa. For me, I think I've worked enough with African startups to be able to understand the ecosystem and what is needed, and how we can develop a lot of frameworks that either help you grow or sustain any innovations that you have. I really love networking and working with a lot of entrepreneurs, but mainly from ideation all the way down to, scaling their businesses. So it's a pleasure to be here, and I don't take your presence lightly. I really appreciate the fact that you're here today. So first question would be, what is a business model, right? And a business model really is a strategic framework that technically describes how your business will create its value, deliver its value, and then capture the value. So these are the three main things that it's doing: how you create the value, how you deliver the particular value, and then you capture it, right? And then in that, the components of that would definitely be your value proposition, your target customers, any revenue that, many revenue streams that you have, because some people just have either one revenue stream or they have multiple revenue streams, and cost structure, and then your operational processes that you go through. In a simpler terms, like really basic terms, a business model explains how, a company makes money and then, serves its customers and hopefully sustains itself in the market, right? That's ultimately what a business model aims to do, to ensure that a company definitely makes money. services customers, and then it's sustainable. A business model then makes things clear. It offers and provides that clarity of what it is that you do and who you are and who you're doing it for and what you get at the end of it, right? And then it also helps in terms of decision making. What markets to be in, how to advertise certain products, what activities to participate in. That is what your business model is intending to do, offer that clarity. Again, your business model then ensures that investors will be interested in what it is that you're doing, so then it attracts investment, and then ensures that you are adaptable, because that is the machine, that is the system that you work in. And any system has to be adaptable because things happen. Financial crisis will happen, markets will collapse. Typically, right now, we've seen what's happened with the OpenAI situation with ChatGPT and then, DeepSeek. If you're involved in any of these AI markets, you have to now look at your business model and think, okay, one is offering it for free, and then we are charging for it. And one is doing exactly the same thing that we do in this open source, and they just literally just giving it to the rest of the world to just use it for free. But then we are charging people for it. So what would happen if people then jump onto this new competitor? So you have to then be adaptable in that sense. So that's what your business model technically does. Now, ask yourself, how many business models are there, as in quote unquote, how many business models are there? And again, I'm going to repeat this. There are so many different business models going around, but at a basic level, you need to ask yourself, how many business models are there? And believe it or not, you have 19 business models. Yes, 19 business models. However, we are going to look at the most, obvious common business models, and that is 7 business models that we're going to look at today, okay? Because like I said, certain business models are widely used because they align with the broader customer needs and then offer that scalability and then adapt very well to various industries. Hence why we narrow them down to 7. But if it was left alone, then you end up having close enough to 19 business models spreading around. But we're just going to look at the 7 because they cut across most industries anyway, right? And so what are the 7 that we're going to look at today? The first one is your product-based model. Businesses that sell physical or digital products directly to their customers, right? I gave you examples. Now, retail stores such as ShopRite, and then when you look at e-commerce with Amazon, and then manufacturing, Toyota, or I could have used, Mercedes or any other organization or manufacturer in that sense. Now, the revenue source for product-based businesses are just one time or repeat product sales. So basically, somebody will just come and buy one product of you. So from, let's say, the lady that sells at a corner store, she's operating a product-based model. So you go there, you buy the product, you go one time. Sometimes you could go there, sometimes you can go back and forth. But the most important thing is, it's only buying one thing or a couple of other things, but it's selling physical things. You can physically see it, touch it. That's how it feels like. So then all it is it's more transactional and it's clear. I buy the thing, I pick it up, I'm gone. There's no confusion about what it is that you do. And that is the product-based model. So you need to start asking yourself, what kind of model are you running right now? And that's just the first one, is the product-based model. Then we look at the service-based model. Businesses offer services rather than physical goods, right? Now, these kind of businesses rely more so on skills and then personalized solutions, right? So in this case, you're looking at consultant companies, right? Companies that do consultancy. So whether it's PwC, IPMCs, and all of these other organizations, and then you got McKinsey and all of these other people, they offer consultancy. That's a skill set, right? That's skills. That's what they offer. Then when you look at people like waste management services or Zoom Lion, for example, they come to your house, take the rubbish, and then go. They're offering you a service. You pay them to come and take the rubbish and go. Then when you look at, naturally, permit me to plug my own organization, iSpace, capacity building training. So we get entrepreneurs, we train them, we provide them with that service, and then that's it. We don't sell physical products. We offer skills and then personalized solutions, whether it is to build websites for them, consultancy, and all of these other things. This is what we do. So then the revenue source for that would be fees that we charge for the services that we render, okay? But most of these times, most of these things are kind of time-based or project-based. So then I can charge you per hour, I can charge you per product, per project time, right? So you have to think about it in that sense. So what is your service-based model? What does it look like? Then we look at a subscription model where customers will pay a recurring fee to access a product or a service. Think about Netflix, think about Spotify. These kind of platforms, literally you sign up for a month, then they give you the services so you get access to the movies and everything, the music that you need to listen to. Then you look at people that do software as a service. So from the Salesforce, Adobe, all of these other people, Canva and all of these other people, that is a service that they offer you, right? You subscribe to their service to be able to then gain access to their platform and then use it. It's a subscription model, right? So they gain traction here due to how predictable revenue streams would be, right? So you've got people signed on to your system for a whole month or a year or quarterly or whatever the case may be. That's how the system works, right? That's the subscription model system. Then we look at the freemium. Freemium models are basically offering basic services for free while charging for a premium service, okay? So something like Zoom, right? Remember that a lot of you that are using free Zoom services, after 40 minutes, it cuts off. If you want to use the video part of Zoom and all of these other AI part of Zoom for it to then transcribe your call and everything else for you, you have to pay for it. Those are premium features that goes with it. See, so for them to give you the space for you to record your videos and everything else, that is something that you pay for, right? So, and then when you look at cloud services like Dropbox and all of these other things, these are services. Normally they will give you, the first 5 gig for free. And then later on, if you want to, get people to collaborate on a particular project and all of these other things, you will end up paying for it, okay? So this is how you have to look at it. Now, the freemium model works well for digital products, that have scalable usage. So digital products that will have scalable usage. So in this case, things like Zoom and Dropbox will be the best examples to use right here. The revenue source for that will be premium upgrades and then subscriptions that goes with it. See, so again, you subscribe, then you'll be able to use certain features. If you don't, then you use the limited features in that regards, right? So you need to start thinking about, if you're one of those people that now want to offer something for free, offer the basic part of it for free, but then people need to charge, you need to charge people for, the premium features and everything else that you need to do, right? Then we'll look at the marketplace or the platform model. The platform model literally connects buyers and sellers and taking a commission or transaction fee in this respect, right? Naturally, you would think about, it's common, right? Because of how low it takes. It doesn't take that much, I would say, movements to make things work. The requirements for it is really not that great. You need a mobile phone or you need a platform just to connect to it. So if it's a laptop or is it an app, you just connect to it, right? So then you think about Airbnb, right? They talk about accommodation. When you think about Uber, for example, you just need the app, download the app, put your profile on the app. You need a cab, you look for the cab, you order a cab, boom, that's it. It's the cab will be in your house, you're good to go. So in this case, it's a marketplace. It's cool, it's easy. You look at commissions and transaction fees, and this is how they make money. So then you have to think that if you go with this business model, how are you going to make money? It's just commissions and then transaction fees from each sale that you make. So in this case, if you decide to, for some reason, be, a site, or you want to do a business where you're connecting people. So if people want to order, let's say shoes, they come to your platform, they order it, they get the shoes, it's delivered, that's fine. In this case, you need to make money at the back end. So you get paid for people purchasing things on your platform. So this is literally what it is that you're doing, right? Then we look at the advertising model. The advertising model, the businesses here will generate revenue by displaying ads to their audiences. Think about the likes of the Google, the likes of Facebook, the likes of YouTube, and all of these other things. If this is one of the reasons why they tend to put ads on a lot of the popular videos, because they know more people watch it. So you pay YouTube to place an ad on a particular video, right? So that's basically what it is that you're doing. So if it's something that you're looking at doing, this is exactly what you'll be doing. You are operating an advertising model. So it is popular for content-driven platforms and services that attract a larger audiences. Hence why we look at the Snapchats of this world, we look at Instagrams of this world, we look at the YouTubes of this world, and Google search ads and all of these other things, and then Meta or Facebook in that sense. So how are you making money from that? You get payments from the advertisers based on impressions, based on clicks, and any conversions that you might end up converting. Somebody comes onto the website, they click, they go, they purchase a product or a service or whatever, you get paid for it, right? So that's what you're doing. You're literally advertising a service. Now, I would say an influencer who is literally advertising products, or they will talk about a particular product to their audience. That's what they're doing. They're just operating an advertising model. So a company gives them the product, they advertise it, then people buy it. And because of the number of impressions and clicks or likes and everything else that will go with it, they probably get paid based off of that. See, so even an influencer could be and should be working this particular model. Then we looked at this model, the licensing model, which in the beginning, it was easy to kind of work. But now, when you look at the licenses model, this is where a business will license intellectual property or technology or products to others, right? So Microsoft does it very well with when they give you the software for you to use, right? Or the Disneys of this world, so characters, they license characters, so intellectual property. So if you're one of those people that you're very good at animations, for example, you can literally sign over your intellectual property to other companies for them to then use your animation to do films and all of these other things. Or even as basic as you see KFC, the KFC that you see in Ghana is not actually owned by the family that started KFC. That is a license. They license their intellectual property, which is their brand and everything else, to other people that want to open it in Ghana. So they sold they licensed their brand name, everything else to an individual for them to then open the store. So you can also make money based off of that, right? So again, you make money from that, from the license fee that you charge them, and then any royalties that you might end up getting in the after making that particular sales. So the next question then would be, how do you identify which business model is best for you? Because remember, I did say in the beginning that technically speaking, quote unquote, we have 19 business models. There's a lot of business models, but I only touched on 7, okay? Only 7. And already, I'm sure you're probably sitting there thinking, so even with these 7, which one can I operate? So imagine if I showed you all the 19, it would have been problematic. So now, as a startup founder, you were then in a situation where you're thinking, okay, so what business model should I choose? But here's how you go around it, right? First, you need to understand your value proposition. Sorry, I think my village people definitely trying to play games with me today, but if you can still see my screen, let me know if you can still see my screen.
I can't see your screen.
Yeah, I need to please.
I can't also see your screen.
I
Okay.
need to please.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me reshare the screen. Hold on. Okay, you can see it now?
Yeah, we just
Okay, great. Sorry about that. I think, like I said, my village people are definitely doing something, but it's
Yes,
okay. We
now
shall
it's
wait.
visible.
Okay, great. So now you look at to understand your value proposition, right? That is something that you need to definitely look at. You need to ask yourself, what is my value proposition? And in that, you need to then ask yourself, what you're offering, does it require somebody just buying it one time, or is it an ongoing access, or is it something that they pay per use approach? And the example then would be, if your solution is ongoing, i.e. software updates, or is a subscription model, that might be ideal. In this case, if you are one of those people that you offer solutions in terms of software development and updates, then having a subscription model will be an ideal, right? But if you're one of those people that you sell a product, so let's say people that sell hair products or beard products for oils and stuff, you are a product-based service. You're operating a product-based business model pretty much. But then if you deliver those things as well, then you're doing both. And that is the thing. So you can do both, but then you have to be clear that somebody can come to your store, buy one and go, or they go online, they buy, you deliver it to them. So here is the thing. So you have to then ask yourself, are you doing one or both or a multiple of them? So there's not clear cut that says you need to just do one thing. You can do both. You could do two things. You could do three things, but you just have to clearly define them as you go along in doing it. And then naturally, you need to identify your target audience, right? You need to identify your target audience. So by identifying your target audience, this would help you to know what business model you need to choose, right? So in this case, who are your customers? What are their needs and, preferences in terms of buying behaviors and all of these other things? You have to ask yourself that question. Identify your target audience. The actions that you have to take here is conduct customer research to identify the demographics, their purchasing habits, and then willingness to pay. Because remember, a lot of the time when we do, so in business or in marketing, you have people that lie a lot when you're doing research. They will tell you, oh yeah, I will use this product, I will do A, B, C, D, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is how much I will pay for it. Do not go and start off a business based off of such situations, right? The willingness to pay does not always translate into actually paying for the stuff, right? But it's great to have people that will say they're willing to pay, so it kind of guides you and makes you think you have a business. So do not jump up and down and say, oh, I spoke to 100 people and all the 100 people are willing to pay, so I'm going to start off a business. You need to actually ask the people, what product or similar product like this have you purchased before and how much you pay for it? So you drill deeper to see if they are actually users of that particular product. So if they've used your competitor before, then chances are then they will use you, right? So you need to also use that kind of system to identify your audience very well. And again, by doing that, you need to match your business model to their expectations. Now, let me repeat that. Identify your target audience. Who are your customers? What are their needs, preferences, and buying behaviors? And then let me say that again. Match your business model to their expectations. Not your expectations, but the expectations of your customers, because they are the reasons why you are what? In business. So an example here would be a younger tech-savvy customers may prefer freemium or subscription models, while traditional buyers may lean towards product-based models. See, so again, my mother, for example, and I hope she's not on the call, is one of those people that will rather go all the way down to like a store and buy something physically than order it from Amazon because she doesn't really trust it as much, right? Or she will not subscribe to Amazon payment because she might not use it as much. But then, whereas if you're one of those people that like buying things offline and all of that, it's easier for you to then sign up to subscription models because you know you're going to use it. So if you're one of those people that don't use subscription models very well, then don't sign up to it. So this is how you have to look at it. So now you look at your audience, you realize that the younger audience tend to like freemium. They try it first, and then they will then pay for the features, or they will pay for the subscription versions of the things that they need to. And then the older generation, or much more traditional people, tend to want to touch the physical product in that sense. So then if you find yourself having one or the other, then you have to then match your business model to their expectations. If you happen to have both, then you can operate both the freemium and subscription models with a product-based model, because you have a target that is mixed. So you can also mix your business model to that effect, okay? So then you analyze market trends and competitors. What are the industry norms and how do competitors operate, right? Again, the industry norms are what? You need to analyze that. So look out for the gaps or the opportunities where you approach where your approach can be different, okay? So you look at the gaps to that effect. Then we think about things like how to go about that. You need to then study successful businesses in your industry, okay, to understand what or which models they use. So basically looking at your competitors to then figure out which models they're using. Because it's always good to study your competitors to see what they're doing. And I'm not saying copy detail for detail, but it's good to have a starting point. So if your competitors are using a market-based model, consider whether direct to customer could help you stand out. So sometimes you can do what they do, or you can do opposite to what it is that they do. Just because they're your competitors doesn't mean you have to do exactly the same thing. All it is you're competing for a client base. So you can do opposite what they do as long as it delivers your value proposition, okay? Then, again, you need to definitely assess your resources, right? What resources or, capabilities and expertise that you have in order for you to then execute this business, okay? If you're one of those people that you don't have motorbikes, for example, but you want to do a delivery business, you have to ask yourself, how am I going to do it? So in this case, you need to then go and then form partnerships with other organizations that do that for you to, because if your business model is delivery service, what resources do you have? Right? So then this is the next step that you would take here is to evaluate your financial and technological and human resources. So in this case, do you have the money? Do you have the technology? Do you have the human resources? So let me use a person that wants to do delivery services again. Do you have enough money to buy bikes? Do you have an app to create it, the technology to create the app? Or do you have a website? And then do you have riders, or do you have customer service people that will answer the call and all of these other things? So you need to evaluate all of these things before you jump into any form of business model that you want to choose, right? So consider whether the business model that you're going to choose right now is scalable, right? And how complex each of them will be based on your capacity. So then if it's too complex for you to operate it, then don't do it. Based on your capacity, not the industry capacity, but your capacity, what you can do, not what other people are doing. You need to check your own capacity. So again, the example here is a marketplace model requires a robust platform and an ongoing seller and buyer management, right? So whereas a product-based model may just need a strong supply chain. So in this case, as long as you have good connections with some of the people from, let's say, Mokala Market, for example, that deliver stuff to you, you put it in your store, people buy it, thank you very much. You have no problems with anybody, right? But if you want to do a market base, then you have to then start connecting, okay, so how are the people going to then buy this product? How am I going to manage the buyer? What is the buyer buying? What kind of technology do I need to do all of these things? So you need to think about all of these things based off of what it is that you want to do. This is why it's important for you to assess. So one of the things to do here too is evaluate the revenue potential of the business model that you want to, choose. So now you need to ask yourself this question. For it being profitable, right? You have to think about this to that respect. How would this model generate revenue, and what is the potential for it to be profitable? You need to then estimate the pricings, your sales volumes, any revenue potential for each model. So if the revenue is reoccurring, like it keeps coming in and out, you need to analyze that. And then your profit margins and your cash flows implications, right? How does these things have an effect on your profit margins and your cash flow? Now, hopefully some of you, this is the first time you're hearing that word profit margins and cash flow. We are going to do a session on financial management, I think in 2 weeks' time. So that's something that you need to look out for, on how to do your profit margins and cash flow. So don't worry if you don't understand it that much today, but the next series is you're going to be able to get it. So for example, you need to then look at the subscription model. This provides a predictable revenue, but then needs customer retention. Why? Because if, let's say, 200 to 300 people sign up to your platform, right? And they are subscribing, every month they pay £50 and 50 cedis every month, right? It's predictable because every single month you are going to get 200 people that are paying you 50 cedis every month. But then it will require a lot of time for you to then do or retain them, because you have to either charge them monthly or it becomes an annual charge. So you have to do a lot of work to then ensure that you are retaining them. Okay? And then if it's product-based, you need to then rely on high volume sales. So if you're one of those people that are selling products, so even if it's, let's say, you sell beard oil, and I'm using beard oil because I have beard, I don't have hair like anybody else. So I'm using beard oil in this sense. You need to sell a high volume of that for you to then make the profit margins that you're looking for. So you need to evaluate the potential in there. How many bottles can I sell a week, a month, a year in order for me to make X amount of money? You need to evaluate that, right? You can't just say, oh, I sold 2 bottles today, so therefore I'm in business. No, you need to look at your profit margins and your cash flow. How many bottles do I need to sell at a particular time to make X? See, so you need to evaluate the potential revenue streams, or the level of revenue that you're going to gain from that particular business model that you choose. Then consider if it's scalable and how flexible it is, right? So the question that you need to ask yourself is, can this model grow with your business? Is it adaptable to market changes, right? So an example here would be a freemium model can grow into a premium offering as your user base expands. Because sometimes what happens is when you have a first app or whatever, you put it out for free for people to use it until maybe you reach 1,000 users, and then you decide, okay, let me start charging people for it. So now you need to ask yourself, is the business model that you're choosing scalable, right? Is it flexible? Does it give you enough room for you to maneuver? If it doesn't, you need to tweak it. You need to find out what else you need to use. So that's why it's saying the action steps that you need to take would be to choose a model that aligns with your long-term growth plan, right? If you see your business, let's say if I asked you, what is the mission, what is the vision and the goals for your business? And also, before I move on, we are going to do a session on defining your mission, your vision, and your goals. So if you don't have that at the moment, don't worry, particularly even if you're in the ideation stage or you are in the prototype stage, all of that, you still need your growth plan, your long-term plan, right? And your short-term plan. So you have to ensure that the model that you're choosing aligns with your long-term plan. And what do I mean by that? Let me give you an example. If your growth plan, your vision is to be the #1, bottle and beard oil supplier in Africa in the next 20 years, you then, first you're starting in Ghana, right? So right now in Ghana, you can do, hand to mouth. People can call you, you can deliver, and that's clean. But then when you then move to Nigeria, people can't call you from Nigeria to do that. They have to go online, order, you deliver, you send it to them. So you automatically see that your your business model here has to scale, has to be flexible, has to be able to change. So that's how you have to think in that regard. See, so you might want to start something off small, but what is the long-term goal? You want to expand. So in that expansion, you need to ask yourself if your model is flexible and scalable to that effect, okay? Then account for risk and any challenges that you may face. What risk or obstacles are associated with this particular model, and how can you then, mitigate against it? Action steps, again, identify the operational, the financial, or the market risk tied to each model. Create a contingency plan, right? You need to have a plan. You need to have a plan. The plan is, what if this happens? What would I do? You need to have that plan, right? So the market-based models may face trust and quality control issues. Now, typical example, a lot of you, when you start with your business, you put it on Instagram and then start ordering from there, right? But we've seen how a lot of fraudulent issues have been happening with Instagram, where people order stuff from Instagram and they don't get delivered, and it's a problem, right? See, so as Africans, naturally, we have trust anyway. We lack trust in things that we don't see. See, so now if you're going to use the marketplace as Instagram, for example, as a platform to order something, there's a trust issue already that you might not get it because some people might just, 419 you and all of that kind of stuff. And then sometimes, we've had this joke, and sometimes we have these jokes, but then in reality, these jokes end up affecting us. What I ordered versus what I got, right? This is the quality control issues, because you might see some nice clothes online, and then when you buy them and it's delivered to your house, it looked like something that was put through a trotro machine and then delivered to you. Then you see the clear difference between the two. Is a problem. Online, the material looked excellent. Then when you got it, oh boy. So that creates a trust issue already. So then if something like that have happened to you or friends, or even somebody posted it online, you're less likely to be trusted if you offer similar things in such industry. So you have to think about this. This is why, again, we need to have policies. We need to have a group of businesses that do similar things come together and then police their industry, because you are looking on building trust and quality control. So do not think that, media, it won't affect me, because if one of your competitors is known as a thief, eventually it will wrap off you too, even though you haven't done anything. See, so this is something that you have to then think about, okay? Then you need to test it and then validate it. How can you test this particular model before, fully committing to that? See, so the best way to do it is, again, launch a very small scale pilot or minimum viable product. And you're going to ask yourself, what is a minimum viable product? A minimum viable product is basically the ugly version of your main version of your product, but does what it is that it needs to do, okay? So I don't know how old most of you are, but let me just repeat that. So the minimum viable product is the uglier version of your main version, but does what the main version is supposed to do, okay? At a basic level. I don't know how old most of you are, but then when you think about, some of you, when you look at WhatsApp right now, and WhatsApp can do multiple calls, and you can now drop documents and share videos and all of that, and blue tick people. When we started using WhatsApp, it was just you send a message and then somebody receives a message. You couldn't do video calls, you couldn't do anything. So when they launched their app, technically that was their MVP. They launched it at a basic minimum viable product so that people can use it. And as time went on, the features grew and grew and grew and grew and grew. And that's basically what you're looking at. So sometimes you don't need to launch the perfect platform or model, launch an effective model, right? Let me repeat that. You don't have to launch a perfect model. Launch an effective model and then make it perfect in the end, right? That's why the example here is test the Freeman model, by offering a basic version and then track how people are using it in order for you to then convert them into the premium subscription side of things, okay? Again, like I said, align this with your vision and goals. In essence, what are your visions? What are your goals? Does this business model that you're trying to choose reflect your mission and the long-term vision in that sense? And don't worry about this so much because we're going to do a session on this and we're going to share it. So those of you that are in the WhatsApp groups, please join the, get your friends that are not in the WhatsApp groups to join the WhatsApp groups. If you haven't joined the WhatsApp group now, an email was sent to you. So please join the WhatsApp group so that you'll be aware of the next sessions that we're going to have. So does this business model align with the vision and goals that you have for your business? Okay. Now, you can combine it, like I said before, or try a hybrid model. So then explore hybrid models that combine the strengths of two or more approaches. Mainly, the ones that I would say you should really focus on doing would either be the product and service models or the product and marketplace models. So you can combine them in that sense and then see what happens to that effect. So if you do subscriptions so people can subscribe to your services and then you send them the products, you can try that and see that how that works. So again, it's just combining things and seeing what works best. If it works best, great, amplify it. If it doesn't, stop it, find something else to do, and then redefine your model system as you keep going along. Now, here you are. Most of you or some of you online, when we did survey, I asked a particular question, what stage your business is in, right? And some of you were talking about your ideation, you are prototyping, and then you are in the, what do you call it? The operational side, you're in the revenue stage and all of these other things. See, so depending on where you find yourself, you need to ask, when do you settle on a business model? So again, if you're just in the ideation stage, the goal here is to explore options and then validate how feasible your business idea is, right? So the best thing for you to do is identify methods, right, that you're going to use to then brainstorm potential models. So then again, you can try potential models. You don't have to stick to one. You can try one for 3 months. If it works, great, keep doing it. If it doesn't, change it. Then try another one. So you probably give yourself 3, I would say business models to use, then try them that way. But one of the best way to do that is identify your target customers and then their needs, because by doing that, it would then kind of automatically push you in the direction of knowing how you're going to deliver your value proposition to them. If you're in the validation stage, what is your goal? Your goal here is to test, right, how viable your product or service would be to the customers and how they can even interact with it, right? So again, your focus here will be experiment with models through piloting and then also small scale launches. I know what I'm about to say is controversial, but it's not meant to be. A lot of us as Ghanaians or Africans or business owners, we tend to want to launch bang, right? Like huge launch. But in reality, when you do that, that is dangerous. I would always advise you to just launch a small version of what it is that you want to do. You can do pilot programs or just a small scale launch, small, right? Don't invite, Amayao and all of them people to come and take pictures of your thing and then blog about it. You could do a small launch, test it out for 3 months. Once you understand how it works, then you can do a main launch. So sometimes you need to do a pilot, then do a small launch before you do a main launch. Do not straight away do a big launch, because the actions where you need to do here is you gather data on the customer preferences and then their willingness to pay, right? Because by doing a small launch, it helps you to be able to do that easier. Then if you're in your growth stage, hallelujah, well done. You're looking at how to then scale, right? And then your operations, how efficient your operations will be. So your focus here will be to refine your business model based on real customer feedback and the market trends. So are you even collecting feedback? Are you collecting feedback? You need to ask yourself, right? And then the actions that you need to take here will be, you decide that on specific models that aligns with proven customer behavior. So then if your customers like buying the product-based model, stick to that. If they like your service-based model, stick to that. If they like both hybrids, then amen, stick to that one. So basically you are aligning with the proven behavior of your consumers, okay? And then maturity. Your goal here is to look at how to, you need to optimize and expand the existing model to ensure long-term sustainability here, okay? So you need to focus on how to diversify your revenue streams with complementary models. So maybe you've done the product-based model for a long time and it's worked, but then you think to yourself, maybe if I add the service version of it to it, it might also work. So you trying to tell people that, okay, don't worry, you buy it from me, I will deliver it to you. You don't have to collect it yourself. I will deliver it to you. You just pay for the delivery service. So now you've added a complementary model to it. So you need to just kind of look at how it might work in that respect. See, so when you look at the SaaS, so we call that's software as a service. In that case, startup with a subscription model might introduce enterprise tiers for larger organizations. So maybe you have a small company, you have only 10 or 15 people, but then out of nowhere, you find out that your clients are now growing to 200, 300, employee base. You need to go to enterprise tier for larger clients. You might offer them more services or dedicated services in that respect because you're maturing, but then you need to know in the long term, are you going to be able to then sustain it, okay? Now, last but not least, how to choose at each stage. Really simple. Experiment early. Use customer discovery to test multiple models and then pivot if it's necessary. So pivot here means change or switch directions if necessary. Align with the problem. Choose a model that best delivers value to your customers and solves their problem, okay? Again, like I said, assess your resources. Start with a model that matches your startup's current capacity, okay? We are all dreamers. We all want to conquer the world. But have you even conquered your area? If you've not conquered your area, let's say you're in Ashaman, for example. Have you conquered Ashaman alone before you even move to Greater Accra? Then from Greater Accra, you move to Central Region. Then from Central, you move to Western, and you keep going until you get the whole of Ghana before you want to conquer the whole world. A lot of startups, what I've seen, tend to kind of want to be global straight away, right? They've got a few products that they sell in Ghana. They want to be, in New York. That is great to dream, but now the question then is, are you able to sustain that? Are you able to ship? Are you able to send your products to New York? Are you able to get your products to London? Are you able to get your products to Australia? All of these places that you think you have customers in, you now need to build infrastructure. You need to build partnerships. Do you have the capacity to do that? So always assess your resources. And there's no shame in saying that I want to conquer the world, but right now I only have resources to conquer this particular space. Okay? So that's my capacity. You need to really assess your current capacity to then see what model can work for you. And then again, the last one, but not least, is saying be flexible. It's normal to refine or even change your business model as you grow and then gain more insights, right? Because, and I would say to win more souls in that sense, there was a point in time where God was, close to man. Okay, God used to work with man. That was God's business model. He was close to his customers. He used to chill with his customers. In terms of the human being, with Adam and all of this, you could go and talk to Abraham and talk to Noah and all of those other things, right? But then it got to a point where they became too much. So they decided, you know what? Let Jesus be the one that deal with it. I'm not dealing with human beings anymore. God was flexible enough to change his business model, right? Whereas he was so direct. Now Jesus is the one that is dealing with it, or he will send the prophets now to then send you the message. I'm no longer sending the message directly to you. I will send prophets to then send the message. So if God is flexible in that sense, if you look at it in that sense, and I'm just using that so that you kind of get what I mean, you can also understand that it's normal to refine and change your business model as you grow and gain more insights. See, so it's about growing and gaining more insights for you to be able to then do what? Change your business model. So here's the thing. I'm running an introduction to business model masterclass. Normally I would charge a lot of money, but I know that a lot of you are in the stage you don't even know what business model you want to do and all of these other things. So for this session, it would be 150 cities. Pretty much you can choose to do it in person, or we'll do the virtual sessions. It's a hybrid, so we can do both. And at this particular time, we will work through your business model. I will ask direct questions, and then I will poke you to then analyze your business, what it is that you want to do. If it's just an idea, you need to then define the idea. Then we will drill down into understanding what particular model that you need to choose, or a series of different models that you need to choose. So I would say that this is something that I will encourage you to do. So yeah, it's only 150 cities for you to then kind of look at your own business model and then see where you can tweak it. And it's in person or virtual. So there's a hybrid model to that respect. And so with that said, I will say thank you very much. And I will stop sharing the screen. And then any questions that you may have, you can ask. Or I will call people out and then ask you, what did you learn in that respect? So if you wrote notes, great. If you didn't, I hope you have a better memory than I am. And then we will just talk. So let me just stop sharing and then come back on the main screen. So thank you very much. Okay, so if you have a question, you can raise your hands and then or mute and then ask the questions, and we can have a nice conversation. Or I'm just going to call people out. And if I call you out, don't hide, because I have your email address. So I would email you and ask you the questions. So either way, you're going to answer a question. So I'm just going to give 1 minute to see who's brave enough to put their hands up first. If not, then I would then call anybody out and then ask them a question. I think somebody wanted to speak. Somebody was brave enough to unmute, wanted to speak. I'm eager to know who that person is. Oh yes, I like the comment in the thing. Yes, so it's a freemium model, exactly. So see, so that means you've learned something. I don't need to ask you that question. I like that. I wasn't even thinking that far, but yeah, that is the thing. So it's a freemium model, and then if you want to learn deeper, you pay for it. So now you've learned something. So just ignorant consult, you were out of the question. Very smart. I like that. I like that. And okay, so in the beginning you couldn't hear, but then I'm guessing you heard later on. So thank you for that statement. Good one. So you're free now. Okay, so I'm going to choose. Let me see. I am a great advocate of gender, so I'm going to go with ladies first. Let me see.
My hand is up.
Good. Talk to me.
Okay, sure. So this is Ephraim. Um, so my question is based on the various models. Yeah, but before I ask my question, would the slides be available to us?
Yes, it would be.
Okay, sure. Thank you. I just like how you put out the slides. I mean, with the white spaces here and there, I mean, it gives a better view and you're able to understand and read along as you explain. So thank you for that presentation as well.
Thank you, sir, for the feedback.
Like the
Yeah,
aesthetic.
I like
Yeah. So for instance, if you are running, let's say you're having products, you're also having services as well. You also have products that you offer. You also have services that you also offer. Would that be a product service model? And how would you explain that in terms of, let's say, your target audience and what have you? Because I know that you came up with different models, or the various models you explained really talked about the products model itself. You have the service model, the premium model, the subscription model, and the other models. They said we have about 90 models.
Mhm.
So do we have an instance where we have a product service based model? And how will you explain that?
Okay, so thank you for that question. So a typical example would be Apple, for example, right? You know, Apple sells its laptops, but then they also have the iCloud services. Then you subscribe to some of their services in terms of if you want to then get more memory and stuff, you pay for it. So you subscribe to it monthly, you pay for that. So they have the subscription model. Then they sell products. Then if your laptop, whatever breaks down, you take it to them, they fix it for you. So then they're giving you a service by fixing your laptop. So now they're mixing the, what they call it, the product-based service. They're mixing it with the subscription-based. Then they're looking at the service part that they're doing. And they do something that is so amazing. They give you freemiums. You can walk into any Apple store, the recognized ones anyway, and then you can test the products. So you use the products there for free. Especially, they will even train you how to use some of their softwares and all of these other things. So, but then for you to then be able to use it, you have to pay to then use the premium features of them. So in this case, they mixed. Apple is probably operating 5 or 6 different models at the same time. And so they are connecting with different audiences, right? Because you have certain people that will go in and buy a laptop, they will buy an iPhone, and then you have some people that would then, instead of upgrading the iPhone, they will rather upgrade the memory versions of the iPhone so they can buy the iCloud services so they can upload their pictures and all of those kind of stuff on it. So they're cutting across all the various customer, potential customers that they can get, the target, in that by mixing all those models. I hope that answered your question, Ephraim.
Yeah, so from what you said, it's now been categorized as a mixed model.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. It's a totally mixed model. They're just mixing everything based off of how they've seen their clients reacting to a lot of the services that they gain in the first place. So if you want to do that, you can do that. But remember, like I said, it's based on your capacity, your ability to be able to do that. So if you have in-house engineers that can fix laptops, then offer that service in-house. If you have a big store where people can walk into and test the products and play with the products and spend all day in the shop, then do that. If you're one of those people that you have big servers in your organization, so you can offer the cloud services, then you do that. So it's based off of your capacity for you to be able to do that.
Okay.
I hope that is clear.
Yeah, that was clear. So for instance, I mean, you made mention of the fact that if you are climbing, you are going or you are growing in terms of your business,
Mm.
and you can also look at other business models, and that's where the mixed model comes in, because you've tried this, it's working, so you want to add other services to it to generate revenue. I just want to
Yes.
understand, if you are moving in that direction, how do you relate it to your revenues? Because sometimes you can start with a particular model and think that, okay, it will work out eventually. But as you go, realize that no, there's something that you need to do. So it's like you are now pivoting. It means that you are now changing the business model. Then you go and you start with a different business model altogether. Then it's like you are getting some revenue, but you're not getting the estimated revenue. And now you now want to move back to the current revenue you were working with previously before you change or pivoted into a new revenue. Could it be influenced by, let's say, market volatility, also, yeah, market changes as well, and also the demographics? And how do you transition properly so that, I mean, you don't get confused in that, or you don't get looped into that confusion bit?
Okay, so thank you for that question. And yes, so here's the thing. This is why a lot of the times you have to do things in bits. So when you're good at doing something and you need to pivot, test the pivot situation I'll say in phases, right? So do not completely eradicate the system that is working already. Keep that, but then if you're going to pivot, you say, okay, I'm going to do it with a small niche of my customer or clientele base. So here is the thing. You see how banks offer, let's say, premium services to their high net worth individuals, right? They test in that first. So if banks want to do something like, let's say, a credit card, in Ghana, for example, banks generally don't do credit cards, but they figured, okay, we want to then bring that kind of credit card services to our clients. What is the best way to do it? We don't go mass market straight away. We pick a niche amount of people and then test it out with them and then see the response. If you get the good response, then you double the efforts. Then you keep going on. So you double the efforts to reflect the revenue that you're bringing in and the capacity that you're able to do, rather than think, oh, because in the first month I tried it and I got 10,000 cities from it, then I'm just going to go full scale. No. And I like what you said, the market can shift at any given point. So give yourself a trial period, 3 months, it works. Then find out why it worked or why isn't it working, and then tweak it to the point where you give yourself, like I said, remember I told you the long-term vision. So what is the long-term vision? You need to ask yourself, does this pivot fit into the long-term vision? If it does, and the long-term vision is 10 years, 20 years, then that means that you break that pivot phases into months and a year before you go full scale. So you just literally have to go according to the way the market is responding, rather than the revenue that you got the first time that you tried it. So your customer base and how they respond to it is important. And then also you need to watch your competitors' reaction to the switch or the pivot in your business model, and then ask yourself the capacity, do you have the human resource or the technology and the finances to sustain that? And if you don't have all of that, then you need to scale it down until you do. And so basically it's all about you assessing yourself as you go along. But I will always say, if you're going to pivot, do not do a sudden pivot, okay? Do it gradually, and eventually you'll be able to then change direction. No pun intended in that sense. I hope that answered the question.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, if I have any questions along the way, I would surely put it out there.
Thank you very much. And then Esther asked, so can we merge different models to run a business, not necessarily doing what everyone else does? Yes, you can merge the models in running that business. And again, it speaks to the client and the target that you have. Sometimes you might have, I would say, mid-range and high-range customers, and you need to serve them differently. And based off of, if you're one of those people that have multiple value propositions, those multiple value propositions can determine the business model that you apply to that particular customer segment that you're dealing with. Because some segments might like secret services, they like private services, so you have to offer it to them. They don't want to, walk into your store to come and buy something. So let's say, for example, you sell lingeries, right? And I'm a guy, I want to buy lingeries for my, wife and also maybe my side chick or whatever the case may be. I don't want to walk into your store to come and buy it. Let's see, maybe my wife just drives by or her friend drives by and then takes a picture of me and then sends it to my wife and says, hey, your husband was in this store. And then my wife will be waiting, Valentine's Day is coming. My wife will be waiting for the, what do you call it? The nice lingerie, and it never arrives, and she'll be thinking, why was my husband in the store? So maybe if you were offering delivery services, I can just order the thing online, you get it delivered to me, package, or you could deliver it secretly to the person who I'm sending it to. So then it's a mixed bag of things that you're doing, right? So you just have to kind of look at the customer base that you have, and then it will determine what kind of different models you need to put together. So Esther, if that makes sense, let me know. If not, ask the question again and see clarity, and then see if I can make it clear. And for anybody else that this question resonates with, I hope it was clear. If not, please ask the question and I'm happy to answer. So whilst we wait, I'm thinking, let me see. So Ephraim and
Yes,
Esther.
yes, that makes sense. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Esther. And just out of it, so let me say, who am I going to pick? So I can see people running away already. Let me see. Jones, are you there? Okay, is it Musa? Yeah, I think you've put your hands up, so you can ask the question. Jones, you're free for now. Musa, if you're there, you can ask the question. Okay, whilst we wait for Musa, okay, yes, Musa, you can use the chat group. That's cool. Okay, so how would the dry run inform the development of your? Yes, I like this question. How would the dry run inform the development of your minimum viable product? Excellent question. Because by doing the dry run, it depends on the research questions that you're going to ask. So you're going to look at your features, right? What kind of features that, let's say you put 3 features onto the particular minimum viable product. You launch the service and people can text, they can call, or they can WhatsApp, right? Those 3 things, or they can email. And then you test it. You test your platform to see how your consumers would order things from you. Then you realize that, hold on, they're using WhatsApp more so than anything else, okay? Then that is the feature that you need to focus on, because then it gives you the information that majority of your client base are using WhatsApp to get in touch with you. So you can't force them to go and use emails when they're using WhatsApp primarily to get in touch with you. So basically, the dry run is to get information. So from that, you would do a lot of research and feedback sessions. You can even do focus group sessions where you can save the data of the people and then ask them to come into the store or a meeting place, and then ask them questions based on them. What features resonated best with them? Which ones did they like less? Which one did they like more? Which one would they see more of? And then you ask them those questions. So as you get that information back, you then improve that with your MVP next release of your MVP. That's why you need to do your MVP stage 1, stage 2, stage 3 in that until it becomes the final product, or it becomes a product that you kill off. So in product development, we have something called product life cycle. So look at your features in the product life cycle, okay? What features are you going to bring in as you develop your MVP and you grow? But seek feedback at every single turn to ensure that you're doing the right thing that the customers want, not what you want, okay? It's almost like your daughter, your son getting married, yes, you're paying for the wedding, but it's not your wedding. So you can't keep saying what you want. You have to ask the people that are doing the wedding what it is that they want. What features do they want at their wedding? What kind of gifts do they want, so that then you pay for it? But you can't force it. You can't force the features on people. I mean, Apple has done it and it's worked, but at that time, people really didn't know what they wanted. But now that we have a generation of people that know what they want, you can't force features on people. You have to ask those questions, and then they will give you the feedback. So Musa, I hope that answered your question. And then those of you that are in the MVP stage that are looking to scale your MVP, please do feedback, answer and questions sessions with your potential client base for you to then get the right information on which features work best and which features is less, and then see how they can develop from there. Okay, so right now you're using WhatsApp community for your agri-tech startup to refine your MVP and get them to participate there. Building something users love. Amen. I like that. So keep getting the feedback, keep using the WhatsApp, because most agri-tech startups could probably, hey, I'm going to build an app, go and spend $20,000 to go and build an app that nobody will use. Whereas WhatsApp makes it easier, and then at least it helps you validate your business model and your business ideas, because if people are using WhatsApp already, which is free for you, then they're using it, you're making money, you're getting real data, and eventually you can then migrate into creating the app or the website or the web app that they can use for you to then keep that data and mine that data much better. So yeah, Musa, well done. I like what do you call it? Your approach is very, very commendable, and keep doing that. Anyone else? So Jones just ruled himself and goes, I don't have any questions. I had a question for you, but I'll let you live today. Let me see. Jennifer, do you have any questions, Jennifer?
No, please.
So, okay, then since you don't have a question, now I have a question. Do you have a startup at the moment?
Yes, please.
Okay, what does your startup do?
Yeah. It's a vertical farming where we are growing crops vertically using the technique called hydroponics, that is growing plants with nutrient-based solutions. Yes.
Okay. See, so then would it be too early to ask you what business model you intend to use, or which one do you think is attractive at the moment?
The product-based model.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
along the line, we'll be using a service-based model.
Right, because then you're going to start teaching people how to, service the product once they buy it and all of these other things.
Exactly.
Okay. So yeah, so I mean, I like that. So the fact that you're choosing the product-based thing first, and then you build up. Yes, just ignorant. I think you can reach out to Jennifer as well. Maybe agri-tech, and then Musa, you in agri-tech. You see, so already the agri-tech people, you can talk to yourselves and then see where you can work with each other on the value chain of agri-tech, and also form potential synergies there. So please get in touch with each other in that respect, okay? Please do. So yeah, Jennifer, thank you. I think it's King Safoa, I think. Talk to me. Are you there? King. Seeing that it's getting late, I'm just going to do this for the next 5 minutes or so, and then I will let you live, so to speak. Okay, so I have somebody that is using Techno KJ5. Techno KJ5. Do you have any questions? Okay, Techno is quiet. So I see one clever participant use Chinese writing so that I could not see their name, but I looked at it very well, and it's Elikem, I think, right? Benedict. I see what you've done there. Benedict, are you there?
Yeah, Josiah, I'm here.
Talk to me. Do you have any questions?
No, I came a little bit late, so
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. But then the bit that you were able to witness, how does, at the moment, I'm guessing you have a startup, correct? Or you're thinking about getting one?
Yeah, thinking about it.
Okay. And which business model you think would work best for you, or you ideally want to do? Because chances are you probably might end up doing a mixed one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I was saying, which model do you think looks best for you?
I was late, so I can't tell.
Okay, but since I'm going to share the deck with people, so if
Uh-huh.
you're interested, again, like I said, because I'll be doing the master class, if you're interested, sign up so that
All
we
right,
can
all
get
right.
deeper into what it is that you all do, and then drill deeper into it. So I'm looking
Okay.
at Sandra. Sandra, are you there? Then
Yes,
Sandra
I'm
goes.
here.
Good, good. So what did you learn today?
Okay, so first of all, I learned about the various models. There's the products, the service-based, premium markets or platform model values. And with the service-based, that's what that one involves offering services rather than the physical goods. And looking at the market or platform model, that involves connecting the buyers and sellers, and I think taking a commission fee, if I got that right. Yes.
See, I'm proud of you. I'm a proud tutor. The student took well done. So are you currently running a startup, or you thinking about running a business at it?
Thinking about running one.
Okay. And so whilst you think about it, you need to, so you're in the ideation stage, right?
Pardon?
Are you in the ideation stage, or
Yes.
like
Yes.
ideation? Okay. Because I'll be running a session on how to map out your ideas into your businesses. So that would also be something that will be put in the WhatsApp group. So if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please join the WhatsApp group so that you kind of get the information that you're looking for. So thank you for the feedback. Really great. And Diana, are you there?
Mr. Joseph, please, this is Belinda. I have a question.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to find out if you were at the ideation stage, you've not started or roll out your business and you want to start, is it best to mix up all the business models, those you think your business can relate to, you can do in your business, and then as you roll out, you lay out those that may not augur well for you? Or you need to, with the little survey you've done, you need to pick just one or two business model and start with that. Which one would be the best approach?
And thank you for that question, right? I would say pick two first, okay? Pick two, but pick the two that does not require too much work for you to do. Again, let me repeat, pick the two that does not require too much work for you to do. So if it's product, the easiest one to pick will be product, and then the one that matches product will be product and service. Why do I say that? Because naturally, if you want to do subscription-based, people have to trust you first before they subscribe to your platform. The reason why it's easy for the African to subscribe to Netflix is because they trust Netflix. But let's see if any of the African brands here try to set up a subscription-based movie platform. Nobody will sign up to it. It's because they don't trust the brand itself. So subscription wouldn't work, right? It doesn't mean that you're bad. It just means that your client base don't trust you. So you don't do subscription-based. So in this case, product and service would work easier because I can get the product, I can sell it, I can deliver it to you, and then it works. As we move on and you trust me more, I can add another model to it. Then you move, then you move, then you move. If you want to do a market-based or a platform-based, which means that you need to create an app. Right now, you don't know how many users you have, and then you go and create an app. We've seen, and again, this goes all the way back to 2015, 2016. Oh, no, probably about 2014-ish. An app came to Ghana. I think they'll call it Easy Taxi or something of that nature. People didn't use it, but just after they left, Uber came in, right? And then people started using it. People started using Uber mainly because they trusted it, right? And they had a platform, the technology worked. And the target for Uber at that time was diasporans who were using it. So by nature of diasporans using it, then the middle class started talking about it, and then it resonated, and it's got to where it's got to today. But you had a startup that came in with exactly the same system, but their platform, the technology wasn't, it was too rigid. It wasn't working hard enough. Sometimes the drivers couldn't connect, and all of these other, they didn't have enough drivers. So it means they were not able to connect the user or the person requesting a ride with a car, and all of these other things. So that created its own problem. So to answer your question, Belinda, pick the two models that work hand in hand. It is easier for you to implement without requiring too many resources to do, particularly, and the heavier resources being technology is a problem, and then trust, which is the subscription model, is a problem. So anything that requires too much infrastructure, stay away from that in the beginning. Once you've got money and you have the human resources and technology and financial stuff, then you can do the rest of the other ones. I hope that answered your question, Belinda.
Very well, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for asking the question. Okay, so I would call the meeting to an end. I would say thank you very much. Those of you that escaped my questions, I know some of you personally, that's why I kind of let you go. But the next call, if you're on it, I'm going to ask you a question. Harry, I see you, don't worry. I will ask you the questions next time. So thank you for joining. I hope you learned something. And again, the master class session is available for 150 cities if you're interested. They will share the flyer, get in touch with us on Facebook, Insta, WhatsApp, and all of these other platforms that there is. So please get in touch and see what we can do together, and see if I can help you refine your business model. If you're in ideation stage, also look out for the sessions that we're going to have on ideation stage. Those of you that are in the prototype stage, again, I'll be running sessions on that. So yeah, looking forward to engaging with you again. And I can't thank you enough for the time that you spent with me this evening, because you could be anywhere, but you're here. See, so I appreciate it. And looking forward to connecting with you again on the next session, which is next week. And we will share the information on that one very soon. That one is about your value proposition. And I'm looking forward to that one, because that is always the Achilles heel for when, for African startups generally. See, so looking forward to that one next week, and hopefully see all of you, or if not some of you, on the call. And if you have any questions, please put it in the WhatsApp group or reach out to me, and then I will be happy to engage. So have a great evening, everyone.
Thank you so much, Josiah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you very much.